What are the expectations for LeBron in LA now that he has Anthony Davis?
Well, I think the expectation is for him to deliver a championship. One of the things that I repeatedly have reminded people of is that, with the exception of Elgin Baylor in 1972, I believe, I think he retired just a few games into that season that they had actually won a championship. With the exception of the great Elgin Baylor, every single marquee name that has ever worn the purple and gold, Lakers, has delivered a championship. Back from the days of George Mikan to Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, James Worthy, to Shaq and Kobe, to Kobe himself without Shaq, every single marquee who has ever worn the purple and gold has delivered a championship. And one of the things that I've repeatedly stated that annoyed the hell out of LeBron James camp, but it was absolutely true, yes, these weren't basketball people, these were Hollywood people, but they had a real issue with a lot of the stuff that LeBron was doing off the court in terms of, his ventures and what have you, because their mentality was, we want to make sure we don't have any problems with him being successful in Hollywood, but you're a Laker, baby. The first order of business is the chip. That was their mentality. And right or wrong, that's how judgmental they were. And so those are the kind of people that from time to time, Jeannie Buss hears and members of the Lakers organization hears. And who knows how that could influence their attitudes, if not their behavior. So having Anthony Davis goes a long way because it reminds Laker Nation that the focus is indeed on the chip, that the Lakers don't stand still. And even though after missing the playoffs a grand total of 5 times from 1948, when they were in Minneapolis, to 2013, before missing the last 6 consecutive playoff postseasons, the bottom line is they have put everybody on notice. We understand what the goal is here. We have not deviated from that process, and they went out and did what they had to do, which was get Anthony Davis.
LeBron is on the clock now. He has 3 seasons to get a chip. The expectations are with AD, he's got to win at least a title, and I think they will. I do not expect them to win a title this upcoming season. They had to strip it all down to get AD. They're going to have to build it back up. That takes about a year. Forget, not even about learning to play with each other. They'll be fine. They just need bodies who can really play, and it's going to take this year and then, this next offseason after this one to get there. Then they have 2 years to get it done, and I think they'll do it. But that's the expectations. You got to get a chip. Stephen A., to your point about every marquee who ever got to L.A. has delivered a chip except Elgin Baylor. In fact, the reason Dwight Howard is not remembered as the powerhouse player he was in the Eastern Conference, let's not forget, he took a team as the only star on that team to the finals. He was a huge powerhouse in the East for the better part of a decade. The reason that is because when he got to L.A., he didn't get anything done. I mean, we don't even think, and therefore we don't even think about Dwight Howard as a marquee guy. There was a time where it was unclear he's a top. There were many years Dwight Howard was a top 5 player in the NBA. Many years. He was a perennial MVP candidate. Had he gone to the Lakers, he had to stay healthy. He had to do certain things. But had he won a chip with the Lakers, then he would be remembered differently. The fact that he didn't takes him off of that marquee level that you're talking about. AD, I'm saying, has a chance to replace Tim Duncan one day as the greatest power forward who ever lived. He ain't going to do it without a chip. And he's got a shot in the next 3 years right now to get at least one.
Well, any team or any franchise that LeBron James is associated with, at that point in time, the expectation is championship or bust. And right now, there's no difference. And that's the mindset that he has going into every season is that, you know what, I'm trying to put my teammates in this organization in the best possible position to win a championship. Now with AD, you have another guy that's top 5 caliber talent and player in the NBA, and it's going to make it very, very, very interesting for that organization, that front office, to get the necessary pieces around those 2 guys to make it a legitimate chance for them to win it all this year.
I think this year is their best chance. I think this year is their best chance. Listen, with KD and Clay down, with Houston being in flux, Daryl Morey, the general manager, went on Go Look and Wingo this morning, essentially acknowledging that, things will be fine, but you do have guys that are butting heads. When you have that kind of stuff going on, and you don't have anybody else definitively to point to in the Western Conference. We can look at Denver all we want to, but they're a relatively young team. They took major steps forward this year, and they deserve credit for that, but they haven't arrived yet. And so when you look at all of those different things that have transpired, and then you imagine Kawhi Leonard potentially leaving the Eastern Conference, so that would be up in flux. I think the Lakers' best chance at winning a championship is now.
No, I think when you consider what the Clippers have, if they get Kawhi, I think that's out the window, but time will tell. When you have a guy as great as LeBron, even in decline, he's still better than most. AD has a chance to be the best player in the game in, any year. Any given year, if he has a great season, he could be the best player in basketball. And LeBron has already been there for many, many years. Those two players, when you consider KD, even if he stays in Golden State, may be diminished because of the injury, it's very possible that the Lakers, if they matched up with Golden State even 2 years from now, the two best players in the series would both be on the Lakers. And that's if they get no one else.